Okay, next class lesson is about why the SAT is important for the students here and so on and so forth. Okay, so over here I have Shamaria. So for you guys, Shamaria, in my 4th hour. So she's a student at Denby here also. So we have high school GPA over here, and we have your SAT scores over here in this chart to the left. So high school GPA over here, SAT scores over here. Okay, and these are what are called merit scholarships based on GPA and test scores. Okay, so Shamaria has said that she plans to go to college, which most of you are saying you want to go to college after. But here is a scenario in the reality of funding, college funding. So Shamaria, do you know how much funding you get for college? Like how much money they're going to give you? Do you have a clue or an idea?
No.
It's roughly about $150,000 with a master's up there around $200,000. Okay, and so on and so forth. But here's the thing, Shamaria, they base it all upon merit scholarships. So like when I buy a new car, like I bought a new car and I'm going to get the best deal possible on my car. I'm not going to overspend on it. I'm not going to buy no Jaguar. I'm just going to buy a good old fashioned Buick, and I'm not going to spend $26,000 and say, forget it, I spent $26,000. I got the best deal I can at $20,000. I got the same car as my friend for $20,000. He's like, how'd you get it so cheap? Because I did my research and I got the best deal on that car. Same thing with college. So everybody can get into a college. That's not the issue. And we hope you all go to college or go to trade school or start a business or join the military. But the truth is most kids will go to college. And when they go to college, out of that $150,000 that you get, maybe $200,000, it's kind of like buying a car. You get a discount on the car. So over here, let's say that the average 4-year degree is probably going to cost you around, I'm going to say around $50,000 to $100,000. Let's say on the high end, $100,000. Okay, Shamaria. Over here, this is the key. So, okay, so like dark maroon is 75% of your tuition for 4 years is paid off. Here, this darker yellow, 50%. Gray, 40%. Okay, 30%, 25, and 20. But we see in the white, so Shamaria, as we see here in the white, these are for the kids who didn't take the SAT. Did they get any discounts on their college tuition that you can see from this key?
No.
No, you get nothing. Okay, so now over here, as you can see, the lowest SAT score they'll take with a scholarship is a 970, which is a lot of our kids are scoring around 970. Okay, but if you come all the way over here, still, if you have this over here, this white, you get no discount on your tuition. So what does that mean? Let me bring this over here, this graph at CMU, which is typical of Saginaw Valley, of MSU, and every other college. So let's say you had some kid in the best case scenario, he scored a 1600. You'd be on the news for that. That's not going to happen. Or 36 on the ACT. Okay, and you have a 4.0, 3.9 up to a 3.8. You pretty much have 100% of your tuition to 75% of your tuition that's paid off. So if they give you, let's say, $200,000 in scholarships and loans that you have, you're only spending roughly $25,000. The other monies you get to keep in pocket if you choose to. I wouldn't keep the loans, but you can. Okay, you're keeping about $75,000 cash in your pocket. So the dude who's going to Cal State or USC, and the dude who takes trips to wherever, that's what he did. And so did this dude, and so did this dude, and so did this dude, and so did this girl, and this girl, and this one, and that one. They figured it out. Hey, I got a 1300 on my SAT. I had a 4.0. Boom. I get this cash bonus. I'm gone. I got the Detroit Promise, so on and so forth. So the Detroit Promise Scholarship also is dependent upon the merit dollars in your funding. So you only get, like I believe, $75,000 initially of grant money. And the bigger discount you have, the less you have to go to loans. But the average semester at college, it's going to run you about between $10,000 and $20,000. So you're looking about 80 grand. Okay. So if you're over here, you get nothing. If you didn't take the SAT, you get absolutely nothing. Yes, you can get into the college here. That's true. But you get no discounts. So if you have a 970 or less on the SAT, or if you didn't take the SAT, and you're sitting under a 2.9, as you can see, you're going to be in massive debt for college, even with the Detroit Promise Scholarship, because the Detroit Promise Scholarship says that you have to use all your grants first, and then they might help you if there's nothing left over for, I believe, the first 4 years of college. And as you can see, if a semester of college is 10 grand, and room and board is another 5,000 or whatever it is, and you spend like between $15,000 to $30,000 going to school, well, and you only have 75,000 to spend, maybe 100,000. That means you're running out of cash by year 3. You're pretty much done with cash. So in my case, most kids did not come. They went to college, but from my era, we either end up going to the loans. So I'm 140,000 in debt from taxes and interest from student loans, even though I had a good SAT score and all that other stuff. It wasn't good enough. Okay, and I took the AccuPlacer. So the AccuPlacer is what they give you in case you don't take the SAT, which is another SAT that the SAT gives, but there's no financial dollars or merit scholarships for that. Okay, so over here, Shamaria. So over here, you know that your GPA has to fall from a 4.0 to a 2.9 to get any kind of scholarship dollars. Okay, can you see that over here? All right. And then,
Yeah.
then Shamaria down here, you're going to see that essentially that the SAT range, this is the new 1600 all the way down to a 970, but as low as 970, like we're talking about, you can get a scholarship or get some scholarship dollars over here. So the Detroit Promise Scholarship depends upon this. So Shamaria, just from your experience looking at this graph, which is like an SAT graph, okay, just from your prediction, which student is going to be in massive debt? The one who took an SAT and did very well in school, or the student who just was did not take the SAT? Which one's going to end up in massive debt? This one? Right, the one who didn't take the SAT, as you can see, he's going to get in, and that person will end up in massive debt. And mostly, nearly everyone I know is in massive debt who did not do very well on the SAT, and that's just how it is. And so you guys have to your 12th grade senior year to take it. However, for merit dollars, you can only take it by a certain date, I believe. So over here, by your senior year, it's by the end of December of your senior year is the final merit dollars you can get for any kind of merit scholarships. So over here, this dude will get a 20% discount. So this guy, let's say he gets $100,000 in grants. He got this gray area, which was about a 20% at CMU. So he's going to spend about $80,000 on his education and keep $20,000. This dude over here got 100 grand, just like, you know, the second little piggy got 100 grand too. But over here, he got 25%. So he's getting back 25,000. Okay, this little student over here, same thing. He scored somewhere around this realm over here on the SAT. He got a 970, but had a 3.7 or let's say a 3.6 over here. He's getting $30,000 back out of 100,000. This student over here, this little student in the gray area, well, they had a 970, but their GPA was pretty high. It was at least a 4.0 to a 3.8, as you can see from this chart. Gray area, he's getting back 40%. So this dude over here, he's getting back $40,000, and his education is about $15,000 per year. Okay, so he's going to spend 60, but keeps 40,000 from free government grant money. Okay, this student over here, as you can see, 50% off. He's getting 50,000 back. So this student was like an overachiever or something. So he had about a 1120 on his SAT, 4.0 or maybe over here. So this kind of combination ends up with this student of getting 50,000 back, and his education is about what, 12.25 a semester. Okay, that's what he's spending. Whereas this student is spending roughly about like 25,000 a semester, 12.25 a semester. And this student, of course, is probably getting a full ride, depending on how high they are here, or so on and so forth. Okay, so over here, so when we talk about, so with that in mind, if you look at this over here, okay, look at the annual amount you get in 4-year totals, 25,000, 22, 20,000, 17, whatever it might be. And we're not, and here's the other thing about this too, Shamaria, okay, there's a thing called, what they call, you get a check back from the government. You get your Pell check balance. Okay, what that means is your Pell balance, I want my balance check. That means if your tuition is, if you get, let's say, $20,000 a semester in, so let me ask you this question, Shamaria. So let's say you get $20,000 back in federal grants, right, for your semester 1. That's what you're eligible for. And you went up here and you got 50% off your tuition. What is half of $20,000? What's half of 20?
3.7?
What's that again?
3.7?
Well, half of 20,000, there's 3.7 range over here. So half of 20,000 is 10,000. So you got 10,000 left over that you get to keep as cash. So what would you do with $10,000 extra, Shamaria? If someone gave you 10 grand right now, you did your part, you got 10 grand, what would you do with that?
Taking on college?
Okay, pay to go to college. You could buy, like some people buy cars, some people spend it on clothes or whatever. Okay, so let's look over here. So that's why the SAT is still important. But the SAT also measures the school report card. This is from the state of Michigan. So this is Denby over here. And so we need to stress the SAT at Denby because it's for the student and for the school. So over here at Denby, our performance is at 6%. So 6 out of 100 kids pass the SAT. Okay, so over here, and on top of that, to further combine it, we also have to remember how many of these kids actually, so we have 94% of the kids who didn't pass the SAT who are more than likely going to be in massive debt in college if they don't get it together. Over here, like by comparison, like this is another local district, but as you can see, 73% of their kids have emphasized this SAT. So that means these kids are going to have less debt, probably a faster future than the kids who just, they thought, well, this teacher said, well, the SAT is not important because you don't got to take it anyways. Not true. Okay, so that's why the SAT is important. All right, so let me shut this down.